Hi, I am Varsha. Today I am going to present my seminar on testing techniques in software engineering. I will be explain white box testing, black box testing, unit testing and integration testing. So before going into types, let's understand why testing is important. When we develop software, there can be many errors. Testing helps us find those errors before the software reaches users. It also improves performance and security and reduces future problems. In simple words, software testing means checking whether a program is working correctly or not. We test the software to make sure it meets the user requirements and gives the expected output. Now let's start with black box testing. In this type, the tester does not know the internal code. We only give input and check the output. So it is mainly focused on what the system does, not how it works. There are three main types. First, functional testing. It checks if features are working properly. Second one is regression testing. It ensures old features still work after changes. Third one is non-functional testing. It checks performance, speed and security. The main advantage is that anyone can do it even without coding knowledge. Also, it tests the software from the user's point of view, which is very important. But it also has some disadvantages. Since we don't know the code, some hidden errors may not be found. Also, writing test cases can sometimes be difficult. In this diagram, we give input to the system, but we don't know what happens inside the system. We only check whether the output is correct. Next is white box testing. Here, the tester knows the internal code of the software. So we test the logic, conditions, and different parts in the code. It is also called structural testing. Now let's look at the type of white box testing in a little more detail. The first one is unit testing. In this, we test individual components or small pieces of code like functions or methods. The main idea is to make sure each small part is working correctly before combining it with others. The second one is integration testing. After testing individual units, we combine them and check how they work together. This helps us identify problems in data flow or communication between modules. The third one is regression testing. This is done after making changes in the code. We retest the system to ensure that the new changes have not affected the existing functionality. So overall, white box testing covers both the small level and combined level testing from the internal code perspective. White box testing has several important advantages. First, it provides complete coverage of the code. Since we can see the internal structure, we can test all possible paths and conditions. Second, it helps to find hidden errors that cannot be detected in black box testing. For example, logical mistakes or incorrect conditions. Third, it improves the overall quality of the code because developers are forced to write clean and efficient code. Also, it helps in identifying security issues and improves performance. So, white box testing is very useful for improving the internal quality of software. Even though white box testing is powerful, it also has some disadvantages. The main drawback is that it requires good programming knowledge, so not everyone can perform it. It is also time consuming because we need to check many parts and conditions in the code. Another issue is that it can be costly, especially for large applications. Also, it is not practical to test every possible path in very complex systems. So, usually, white box testing is combined with the other testing methods. In the given diagram, we can see the internal structure of the system. Unlike black box testing, here we are focusing on how the program works inside. We check the flow of execution, conditions, and loops in the code. For example, we verify whether all statements are executed and all conditions are properly tested. So, this diagram represents that the tester has full visibility of the system. Now let's move to unit testing in detail. Unit testing is the process of testing the smallest parts of a program such as a function or method. It is usually done by developers during the coding phase itself. The main goal is to ensure that each unit works correctly in isolation. This type of testing helps in detecting errors very early, which makes fixing them easier and cheaper. So, unit testing is considered the first level of testing. Unit testing has many advantages. First, it helps in early detection of errors, which reduces future problems. Second, it makes debugging easier because we know exactly where the problem is. Third one is it improves the quality and reliability of the code. Also, it makes future changes easier because each unit is already tested. So, overall, unit testing helps in building a strong foundation for the software. However, unit testing also has some limitations. It can be time consuming, especially when there are many small units to test. It also requires technical knowledge, so it is mainly done by developers. Another disadvantage is that it only tests individual units, so it cannot detect problems that occur when different modules interact. So, unit testing alone is not enough. In this diagram, we can see that each unit is tested separately. In each module works independently without depending on others. This makes it easy to find and fix errors quickly. So this diagram shows the concept of testing small parts individually before combining them. After unit testing, we move to integration testing. In this stage, different modules are combined and tested as a group. The main goal is to check whether the modules are working together properly. Sometimes, even if individual units work correctly, errors can occur when they interact. So, integration testing helps to identify those issues. There are three main approaches to integration testing. First is top down testing, where testing starts from the top level modules and moves downward. Second is bottom up testing, where testing starts from the lower level modules and moves upward. Third is Big Bang testing, where all modules are combined at once and tested together. Each method has its own advantages depending on the situation. Integration testing offers several benefits. It helps to detect errors in communication between modules. It ensures that all parts of the system work together correctly. It also improves the overall reliability of the system. So it plays very important role after unit testing. But integration testing also has some challenges. It can be complex to set up, especially when many modules are involved. Debugging is also difficult because it is not always easy to identify where the error is coming from, and it can take more time compared to unit testing. In this diagram, multiple modules are connected together. We test how data flows between these modules. The focus is on interaction and communication between components. This ensures that the system works as a complete unit. To conclude my presentation, black box testing focuses on the external functionality while white box testing focuses on internal logic. Unit testing ensures that each small part works correctly, and integration testing ensures that all parts work together. By combining all these testing techniques, we can develop high quality and reliable software. Thank you for your attention. I hope this presentation helped you understand testing techniques clearly. Thank you.